Real Rhinelander podcast is sponsored by AirPro Fan and Blower Company. For more information, visit airprofan.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Rhinelander podcast, brought to you by the Rhinelander Area Chamber of Commerce. Each month, we are diving into authentic conversations with local people in our community, businesses, professionals, entrepreneurs, people just out and involved in our community. And so this month, I would like to welcome Janet Jamison to the podcast. We're going to have some authentic, real conversation about all the different things that she's involved in. Some of her thoughts and backgrounds and kind of share some more information about Janet, which I know you're very excited about.
Happy to be here.
Yes. So if you could just give us a brief introduction of your background, your current role and what you're doing and some of the organizations that you're involved in, and then we'll dive into some of the smaller conversations a little bit later too.
Sure. So I'm Janet Jamison. I moved to Rhinelander 25 years ago now, just out of college. I said I'd stay a year, and 25 years later, I'm still here. I've grown to love the area, and I'm fairly involved in things. I'm a physical therapist by degree. However, I currently manage the Hodag Dome for the School District of Rhinelander, and I enjoy being involved in some other local groups and organizations, like the Community Foundation and the Diamond Club and the Tourism and Marketing Committee here in town.
Awesome. Yes, such a diverse background of things that you do. I love that. So first things first, we always like to have people tell us about what their main day job is. And obviously you just said you manage the Hodag Dome, but if somebody just happens to not know what the Hodag Dome is, can you give us a little rundown of what that is?
Absolutely. It is the the nation's largest air-supported school district-owned dome in the country. So It's 128,000 square feet, and it's to be used by our local students and athletes, but then also our community members, and to bring in other events to the area too.
Could you talk a little bit about some of the uses and different stations that people can find in there, different things they can do?
Sure. So there's a track that we use for sprints and hurdles and things for the track team, but also for community members to come and walk. There's 10 pickleball courts, 4 tennis courts. There's batting cages and golf simulators. And then there's a big football field sized turf area for people to come in and be able to play frisbee or catch or kick a ball or just have fun with their families.
Which can also double as a soccer pitch and softball diamond.
Yes, it's a regulation size football field, a soccer pitch, and 2 softball or youth baseball diamonds.
Yes. I mean, the Hodag Dome, we've been talking a lot about it this year and the economic impact that it has on our community. And I think that it's something that people should be aware of, like this, even if it's something that you're not using, it really does have a great impact on Rhinelander.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a lot of community members who come in and use the dome just to stay active and with their families. But even for the people that don't come in and use the dome themselves, one of my goals is to be able to have them realize what a huge economic impact it has on our community. It brings all kinds of sporting teams to the area for different tournaments and events. And it's kind of grown. We have some new hotels in town and some new restaurants coming in, and it's just a steady economic boost, especially in the winter months.
Yeah.
For our area.
I know back in February, you had kind of shared some posts about between the dome and the ice arena over the course of, I think it was 2 weekends, maybe it was 3 weekends, that you guys all had tournaments that it brought in an estimated $2.5 million to our community.
Yes, it just has such a huge economic impact because they're at the dome or the ice arena for a game, maybe at 8 a.m. and maybe another game at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. at night. But in between that time, they're exploring Rhinelander and they're going to visit our restaurants and they're staying overnight at our hotels. And that's just a huge draw to our area.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, a lot bigger than most people, I think.
Yes.
And even, I spoke on it at the Wisconsin Governor's Conference on Tourism. So it's the impact that it's having on our community is being recognized on a state basis. And so something people should know if they don't already.
It makes Rhinelander unique,
yes.
Which is great.
Yes. So you shared that you came here to Rhinelander 25 years ago. Can you share with us kind of a story of like how and why you ended up here, why you chose to stay?
Sure. So I came as a new grad out of physical therapy school. I went to college at Marquette University in Milwaukee, and I know I wanted to go somewhere a little more rural than downtown Milwaukee. Uh, but the job market
Went
was
way
tight.
rural.
The job market was tight when I graduated. So I took a full-time job that I could find that was here in Rhinelander, and it was a couple of hours away from most of my family. So I said I would give it a year and gain some experience. And then my plan was to quit that job and move somewhere different. But in that first year, I met some friends and I met my husband and really grew to love like our lakes and our trails and all the nature available here, and ended up planting roots. And here I am still.
Yeah. And you had kids that went through the school district?
Yes, both of my kids are born Hodags and raised here, and now are both away at college.
Yeah. I think we hear a lot of people that, you know, maybe didn't expect to end up here, but did. And I love those stories. Like, I grew up here, but it's so nice to see the outside perspective of other people that have come to the community and really enjoyed it. You said you started in healthcare. And you said you were in physical therapy. Could you kind of just share what made you decide and why you kind of made that career transition? A lot of people have been making career transitions, and I was just curious if you'd be willing to share kind of your background with that.
Sure. So never in a million years would I have guessed that I would have left physical therapy. It was never on the plan or the radar. But I was working inpatient physical therapy at the hospital during COVID, and that's tough. It's a lot of long days and equipment and watching people really struggle with their health. And when I was approached about considering this basically like an event planner type job at the Hodag Dome, I thought about it for a while. You know, I needed something that was going to feel like I was making an impact on the community. That was something that was important to me. And I knew I'd miss my patients in healthcare, but those are a lot of the same people that I get to see on a daily basis at the Dome now. Lots of people come in to walk, and I still get to hear their stories and be part of their day-to-day life. So for me, it was a really good transition into just doing something different, but something that felt true to who I am and what my goals are.
Yeah, you're still impacting their health, perhaps in just a slightly different way. And I'm sure even your background has been probably helpful in case there's some kind of medical emergency or something.
Once in a while,
hopefully not too many of those.
Look at my knee.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people during COVID thought about their careers and made changes. And so it's just a question that I thought I'd ask and see if there's any particular reason. So you mentioned that you were involved in other organizations. One of the ones that I'd really like to spend some time talking about is Positively Rhinelander. How that kind of came to be, what it is, if somebody doesn't know, but like why you chose to do that and a little bit more about that.
Sure. So Positively Rhinelander is basically just a social media presence. I started it on Facebook 6.5 years ago now. We recently added Instagram, so we're trying to stay trendy. But it's basically just a page where the goal is to focus on the positive people and events and things we have going on here in Rhinelander, but also our natural beauty. So every day I post a photo of the day that was taken in or around Rhinelander, and the goal is just to focus on the positive. And the reason why I started it was because back in 2019, when I launched it, if you did a Google search of Rhinelander, the headlines were very negative. There were all kinds of city council squabbles and just a lot of negative headlines. And I also had kids in middle school, and one of my parenting pushes was to focus on positivity and kind of the law of attraction, right? So the vibe you give out and the energy you give out is often what you receive in return. So I was trying to help my kids focus on positive things as well, and just wanted to create something that eventually, as it grew, if you looked up Rhinelander, you would find something to be positive about. There's so many amazing things here and so much natural beauty that it kind of seemed a shame that we were all focused on a few negative news headlines. So that's where it started.
Yeah. And you post a photo every single day.
We haven't missed a day in 6.5 years. We've been really late.
If you have photos that you might want to submit them to the Positively Rhinelander page, because I'm sure you're always looking for photos to be able to share.
Yes, I am always looking.
But I love that. I do remember 2019 and how, and I feel like it has made an impact. And you have, gosh, over 3,000 followers, I think.
9,000.
9,000 followers.
I just looked before I came here, just so I could speak accurately. And it was that was never really the intention. I always feel like I was just a mom on my laptop in my basement. And I enjoy it. I enjoy finding the photos. I enjoy trying to match it with a quote and putting it out there to be something that people can look forward to online.
I think that's so great. And you've also added kind of like the Throwback Thursday posts and some history into it too, which I think people like.
Carrie Bladorn helps on Thursdays. So I take the day off on Thursdays, and he always posts a Throwback Thursday history post, and usually gives a really great background of the photo and some description, and people love those. A lot of people remember the photos that he posted and like to speak about, oh, I worked at that store, or I remember going to that place.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun engagement with it. So if you don't already, follow Positively Rhinelander on Facebook and Instagram. And growing Instagram. And if you have photos, always send a message to that page, so you might be able to share those too. So some of the other organizations that you said you were involved in, I think that if you could give people a little bit of an overview about like the Community Foundation and how that's kind of come to be, because you've kind of been involved since the begining.
Almost. I was 2 or 3 years. They were already established before I joined in, but I think I've been there for 6 years now. The Community Foundation is an amazing organization. They basically facilitate charitable giving. So if people have a desire to be able to give money to the Rhinelander area, we can help them with that. So either they create an endowment or they can donate to an established fund. And then we're able to do some very impactful projects now, things like the Hodag Park Amphitheater or the pickleball courts, or they were part of the dome going up. And then also there's endowments that plan for the future, so that principal doesn't get touched, and it's just a reliable source of funds for future needs for Rhinelander too. So it's a great way to help the community now and also into the future.
And the Community Foundation does do like a grant cycle for local nonprofits, typically like February, I think they start taking those applications. And then we've always been able to kind of partner at a Business After 5 to help share those grant awardees, which I think is a really fun thing to do. But that's something that nonprofit organizations should consider, I think, as well.
Absolutely. We just granted over $1 million now since our inception to local nonprofits. So it's a great way for them to be able to fund a project.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. We're going to get into some fun questions. What is something that people might not know about you or the organizations you represent? Some fun fact or something that you find really interesting that you're like, man, I wish people knew this more.
I think for Positively Rhinelander, I think I kind of joke around or laugh when people post, if I post a photo and a friend sees that of the photographer and they put a comment on there like, oh, now you're famous. I think that's funny because it still seems to me like I'm still the mom on the laptop in my basement. And it's something I have always done for myself. But I'm so glad that people enjoy it. And I like that it's bringing people together. I get a lot of messages just privately from people who used to live here who are so grateful to be able to see parts of the area yet. And even a couple of people who have moved to town who reached out in advance and asked questions, and I was able to at least point them in the right direction to get answers and help facilitate getting some new people here. So that's something I'm proud of as part of that page.
Yeah.
Beyond just the photos that are nice.
Yeah. I think that's really cool. Okay. This question, let's tailor it to the dome because everybody remembers earlier this year. So what challenges have you maybe faced and how have you overcome them? And more specifically, like if you want to share a little bit more in depth about like what happened with the dome earlier this spring and how that really kind of impacted the community, but also like your role in the school district and everything like that.
Sure. So the dome has been around for about 4 years now, and I think our community uses it pretty heavily. But I don't think any of us really realized exactly how much it meant to us on a day-to-day basis until last March, when there was an ice storm and we lost power in the middle of the night. And our backup generator never recognized the power failure, so it did not kick on, and the dome just slowly deflated. And on the way down, as it deflated, it caught on a basketball hoop, which tore a hole, and it ended up coming down. And it took about a month where we were out of service and it had to get repaired. And we're still finishing some final repairs, but a month before we were back open to the public again. And during that time, we joked that we couldn't go anywhere, the dome employees, without someone hugging us, or I had one person literally cry on my shoulder. But I think people just felt lost. Like that was their daily connection to other people and their place to go and their place to be active. And it means so much more than just walking 5 laps to get to a mile, right? It's friendships, and it's a place for people to connect. And they're so happy now to be back. I mean, certainly we wouldn't go back and do it again if we had the choice, but it made us all a little more grateful, I think, including those of us who work there, just for the ability to have a facility like that that brings the whole community together.
And I mean, I think we certainly saw a lot of people kind of try to rally around to see what they could do to help, or kind of seeing what they could do to shift people and things like that too.
Yes. Yeah. The school district was great about creating positions for the employees that were kind of put out for the month or so. So we had an opportunity to do some other things around the district to help them and be able to keep our jobs going. It was all, and the community certainly rallied and did everything they could. When it was time to assemble the new pickleball nets, we had a whole group of volunteers show up, and we were able to do that in under an hour. Things that would have taken a lot longer on our own, that they were willing to come and assist with.
That's very cool. Yeah, sometimes you don't realize the true impact until something like that happens, which is unfortunate, but I think that people definitely can see that too. Okay, maybe this is another question for the Dome. Maybe it's your nonprofits that you're kind of involved in, but how do you see you or the organizations you're involved in evolving into the future? Like we've been very forward thinking. The Community Foundation's been very forward thinking.
Yes.
Yeah, but like what's next? Is there something that really sounds like a goal of yours for, I don't know, whatever it might be? That
Sure. So for the Community Foundation, our goal really is to just keep growing the impact that we're having. So as new funds are developed and new donations come in, those endowments grow. And every year we're able to grant out more money and make more impact on the Rhinelander community. So it's a matter of people bringing their projects to us. We don't necessarily plan projects for Rhinelander, but the impact we're able to have will just continue to grow. It's been amazing over the last 6 or 7 years how much it's grown. So for that organization, it's just to continue to grow. For the Dome, I would say we're going to keep doing a lot of what we're doing, but we're always looking to add new and different events, things that maybe aren't all sporting activities. We're trying to find different ways to bring people in of all ages, from toddlers up through people in their 90s. We just recently became autism friendly, sensory friendly certified.
That's cool.
So that's a cool new thing for us too, but all kinds of new events.
Yeah, I know we host our community expo in the Dome every March, a different use of that space, and it's been really fun to see that grow. We could probably even triple in size and still fit in the Dome, but we're excited.
Goals for the chamber.
Yes, we're excited that we have that space that we can use. It's been great to use for an expo style event, and I mean, we've learned from it and could share insights if somebody wants to host some kind of expo or something there. I know you host like a lot of softball tournaments. Are there other things that maybe people don't really realize that you guys do there?
There's a very large wrestling tournament in December, and that's just a unique thing to come and look at because they spread mats out across the whole turf, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in there. Graduations, both for our high school and also Nicolet's commencement, typically happens in the Dome. We've done what else? All kinds of different, we're looking into more craft fair kind of things or toddler activities. There's just so many different ways it can be used. It's such a large space.
Very cool. Okay, I think I only really have one more question, and it's a fun one, an on the fly one. So okay. I didn't give you any warning on this one.
Oh, good.
What is one must-do thing in Rhinelander that you would recommend to like guests that were coming from out of town, other than going to see the Hodag Dome?
Yeah, that's really high on my list. Besides going to the Dome, I would say you have to get out and explore one of the local trails. Like I just think our trail system is amazing, and the ability to be out in nature and perhaps to throw a kayak in the back of the truck and be able to go out and kayak around a little lake where there's no houses and be able to go for a hike is incredible.
Yeah. So that does tie in just a little bit. You mentioned you are on the Rhinelander Tourism and Marketing Committee, appointed for, I think this will be your first term. And can you just share maybe a little bit about like what that is and why you kind of chose to be involved with that?
Sure. So the Tourism and Marketing Committee is just a group of people that are working to promote Rhinelander, to be able to advertise perhaps to visitors that are further away and just present Rhinelander in its true positive light. It kind of factors into the Positively Rhinelander thing too. But I think that this has just become such a great place to live and to raise kids, and it's got that small town heart and small town feel, but still some of the larger town amenities, that it's just another way for me to help promote the place I love, being part of this committee that tries to bring people here to town to visit.
Yeah. All right. I can't think of anything else specifically, but is there anything else that you might want to add?
No, I just think that Rhinelander is such an amazing place, and in the 25 years I've been here, I would say the first 10 I was concerned, felt a little stagnant, and things weren't moving, and it was so hard to make even very small improvements. But gosh, in the last 10 to 15 years, I think there's been such a change in the energy and the vibe in the community and the willingness of community members to work together and really support projects, that it's snowballed. And I think people believe now in what's possible here. Now that the Hodag Dome is here, and we have the new amphitheater that's become like this huge community gathering space for concerts in the summer, and the parks are improving, and people really support the school district here. I feel like it's such a different place than the Rhinelander people used to know. And that is the reason I am still here.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I grew up here, and obviously I have a different perspective as a child than I do now as an adult, but it was always kind of that idea of, oh, I'm going to leave and not come back. And I mean, I did, and I can't imagine being anywhere else, but obviously I'm biased to a degree. Yeah, it's just such a great place. I'm really grateful that you were able to come on and talk with me. I so appreciate your willingness to do this. So thank you all for tuning in to this month's Real Rhinelander podcast, and we will see you all next month.